Hello and welcome Universe Mode. This is ECW. This is the show of the week. This is the A show. And oh my god. It happened. It happened. He did it again. Seth Rollins is still your ECW champion. Seth Rollins is your 365-day reigning ECW champion. Seth Rollins is going to be here tonight as well to celebrate his victory, but that is all to come later on in the evening. That is all to come at the very end of the evening. As for here tonight, we are going to be having two #1 contender matches, as we only have just over a week to gear up for Anarchy Rules, the next ECW exclusive pay-per-view. And Seth Rollins gears up for two matches in one night. First up, he'll be finding out between Buddy Murphy, Sami, Callihan, and Drew McIntyre who he'll be facing for the ECW Television Championship later on this evening. There are three very different opponents, but chances being given out for all, given what happened at SummerSlam, given the success of Seth Rollins. One of these three men will face him. McIntyre, much like Rollins, could be wrestling two matches in one night to go with it. More on that in a little bit. We also have our main event of the evening, which is going to be a 6-man battle royal to determine the #1 contender to the ECW Championship. Much how McIntyre could be wrestling two matches in one night, so too could one of the men you see there, Neville, joining him in that match. Kyle O'Reilly, Tetsuya, Naito, Aleister Black, Sami, Zayn, and the Switchblade Jay White. All 6 of those men want the shot at Rollins at Anarchy Rules for the biggest title there is. Only one of them is going to get it. And then, of course, after it's done, the winner of this one, like everyone else on this brand, will go to the back, sit down, look at the TV, and watch Rollins have his celebratory 365-day reign celebration, and to go with it, his ECW Television Championship celebration. Rollins is the man. Tonight is all about Seth Rollins. Tonight is his night. Before we get to any of that, though, even though we pretty much have, because it is Seth Rollins tonight, we're going to start things off with Trevor Lee in one-on-one action against the new Cruiserweight Champion. So let us do this one. Let us kick things off on tonight's episode of ECW with a very interesting match. I will reveal right now, by the end of the night, we will have every title match decided. To start off the conversation about that, I will say right now that at Anarchy Rules, there will be a rematch for the Cruiserweight Championship between Hiromu Takahashi, the new Cruiserweight Champion, and the former Cruiserweight Champion, Zack Sabre Jr. And on top of that, there will be a rematch for the ECW Tag Team titles as well. DIY will get their rematch against the British Empire. That is all to be discussed, regarding the tag team matchup later on this evening. I will say, as for right now, the Cruiserweight Championship matchup can be talked about right this very moment, because holy shit, what a surprise that one was. SummerSlam, it was supposed to be Ali versus Zack Sabre Jr. Mustafa Ali jumped backstage, his head drilled into the mat by Drew McIntyre, and from there, surprisingly to us all, out comes this man to shock everyone and end up with that around his waist. Hiromu Takahashi, the time bomb, also the Cruiserweight Champion. I don't think any of us anticipated something like that happening. I certainly didn't anticipate that happening, but considering Sabre Jr. said, I want this to be an open challenge, he got what he wished for, and he paid for it. Because at the end of the evening, Hiromu Takahashi was the one taking home the Cruiserweight Championship. Takahashi has, thankfully, after SummerSlam went off the air, he was backstage. We got him right down, got to talking, and got him into a contract here on ECW. Thank God. Otherwise, that would have been a problematic situation for us. The Time Bomb, though, is a member of the ECW roster. He will be defending his championship just over a week now at Anarchy Rules. And of course, it's great to think, all things considered, that 50% of the title matches at Anarchy Rules will have Seth Rollins in them. That just warms my heart. That's just music to my ears. You mean to tell me I get more than one Seth Rollins match at Anarchy Rules? What more do I want? What more do I want in life? There's nothing more I need. I'm fine. I'm happy. That's some of the best news anyone could ever hear. Wow. 2 Seth Rollins matches in one night. I can't wait. We'll find out more about his contenders later on this evening. As for right now, Takahashi and Trevor Lee engaging in a collar and elbow tie-up to get things underway. Side headlock back into it there from Trevor Lee, though he cannot keep the time bomb contained right now. Takahashi moving a little bit too fast for him. That shot right in the face will slow him down, as will the face buster that followed up right after. Takahashi could be in a little bit of trouble here. Trevor Lee stopped in his tracks. And Takahashi coming in with a Falcon Arrow, driving Lee down to the mat. Things looking good for Hiromu Takahashi in his ECW in-ring debut. See what else the time bomb's got up his sleeve. Nicely done there. Flying over the top rope, coming down with a tope on Trevor Lee, who's able to counter right back there. And what a lariat to bring the man down to go with it. Trevor Lee now in total just aggression towards the ECW Cruiserweight Champion. Goodness, look at those knees just driving into him over and over again there. Trevor Lee feeling the, Takahashi feeling the wrath of Trevor Lee's assaults. Michinoku driver now. Trevor Lee looking to try and put things away here. Certainly be a triple threat matchup should Trevor Lee win here tonight. And make no mistake about it, when it comes to the Cruiserweight division, Trevor Lee is one of the most stacked athletes there is. Look at this maneuver from him there. He is always on the border at 205. He is, in many ways, might be lanky. It might even be the part that he's lanky, but he always seems to look like the tallest Cruiserweight in the division. And certainly a very gifted athlete as well to go with it. Let's not forget, Trevor Lee was in Money in the Bank last year. Certainly had his success within this roster, but still waiting for that step further to go. Takahashi now in position, drop kick in the back there, and Trevor Lee going to feel the impact of that one, gripping onto the back of his head. Hiromu Takahashi has him up on his shoulders. I thought for a second he was thinking time bomb. He's not. He's walking all the way over, and he's drilling him into the turnbuckle with that one. Hefty impact there, and the time bomb now is starting to roll in his ECW debut. Now, Hiromu Takahashi starting to take shape in the best way that he possibly can. He has him up on the shoulders. Are we going to see it? Takahashi, plunger! But Trevor Lee not going to stay down. Well, he's going to try his best to not to stay down right there. Getting right up to his feet, and here he goes now. Lariats off the ropes, and a drop kick drills Takahashi in the face. Trevor Lee seeing an opportunity. Trevor Lee smelling a huge chance in the water. Went for the headbutt, and I think he hit more of his body into the mat than what he did his head into Takahashi. A rough impact for both men there. Both slow to get up to their feet. Trevor Lee, however, is up to his feet first, and with a kick in the gut, lifts him up, and the suplex powerbomb from Trevor Lee now. He could be one move away from a huge victory over the Cruiserweight Champion here on ECW. One move away from a triple threat match for the ECW Cruiserweight Championship. Takahashi counters. Meteora from the top rope. Trevor Lee goes back down. And Takahashi will go for the triangle choke. The triangle choke that he simply called D. And he has it locked in on Trevor Lee now. Lee would know where to turn to. And Lee is tapping out. Lee is submitting. Takahashi wins in his ECW debut. The Cruiserweight Champion, who he knows his opponent is going to be Zack Sabre Jr. But as for right now, everything is looking good for the Time Bomb, the Cruiserweight Champion, as he awaits his match against Anarchy Rules against that man, Sabre Jr. with a kendo stick. More than once, smashing it over the back of the Cruiserweight Champion. Zack Sabre Jr. getting one over the champion here. My goodness, what do we make of that? Sabre Jr. aware he's got the rematch, but would rather take to sending the message right now, as opposed to waiting for a later date. Sabre Jr.'s rage from losing the title, and Anarchy Rules shining through there with the use of that kendo stick. No doubt that when that rematch comes about next week, it is going to be where it is going to be a very, very heated altercation between those two men. Nevertheless, we move on to our next contest of the evening, a WrestleMania rematch on its way between the Authors of Pain and DIY here. As I've discussed earlier, DIY will be facing the British Empire for the ECW Tag Team titles at Anarchy Rules, a SummerSlam rematch. I didn't want to put DIY in this one after everything that happened at SummerSlam. I wanted to give him the week off, but DIY said no. We are fighting right now. Give us whoever. We are fighting them. They want this match. They want to prove that they belong back up at the top. They want to prove to the British Empire that they are not afraid of them heading into Anarchy Rules. That they will overcome them. They will overcome them as they have done with so many other teams in order to become the ECW Tag Team Champions once again. I think that's a very honorable decision from DIY, but I'm not too sure if it is the right decision to be wanting a match right away. I mean, we've seen what happened at SummerSlam. It was a tough loss for them. They were beaten mentally, physically, and ably from the British Empire, and now without those tag team titles, DIY have to work over the next week on a game plan in order to win it back, and it's going to be very tough to do so against the duo that is the Authors of Pain. Yes, they beat them at WrestleMania, but can they beat them again here tonight? Is it possible? The AOP standing in the ring right now. Oh, of course! Why wouldn't they? Come on! The British Empire already assaulting DIY before the match begins. Oh, that is sickening. That is sickening from the Tag Team Champions. They have been assaulted now. But there's no way. They are going to be, they want to. DIY want to. They are hurt already, but they want to fight. Oh no, this is not the smartest idea they've ever come up with, but it's what they want to do. Oh, no. What's going on now? What is going on now? Has him up in the air. And Chopper in to make the save. I don't even know who the legal men are in this one. Is it Chopper and Gargano? Is it Gargano and Razor, I believe? I think so. I think that was what the referee saw and what he was trying to fix. And what an over-the-top start there for AOP versus DIY. I didn't even get much of a chance to talk about it. And now look at this. Look at this from AOP in the corner. They saw the attack. They smell blood in the water. And they're going right after the ECW, the former ECW Tag Team Champions. Gargano and Ciampa assaulted on their way to the ring there. In sickening fashion to go with it as well by the new ECW Tag Team Champions. As if this wasn't already enough of a backup against the wall kind of matchup. Now, to go with it, they have to try and win this one. Hurt from SummerSlam and hurt from that attack just a moment ago. Gargano getting beaten down right now, but he's standing up and he's fighting on against Akam here. A WrestleMania rematch between these two teams, but no title on the line this time round. That'll be next week for Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Throw in Akam into the turnbuckle now. Tag made from DIY. They're still fighting on as much as they can. Irish whip here. They are lined up and ready to go. Great double team strike combo. And the strength now of the Psycho Killer with that Northern Lights suplex. Cover made. Only a 1 count though. And Ciampa wants to take things up high. Ciampa wants to go up to that top rope. Razor was coming over. Ciampa had to act quick, and he paid for it there. His elbow colliding into nothing but the mat. But the Psycho Killer back on it here. Big time lariat. Akam goes down. DIY have been amped up here. Amplified in terms of aggression. But in just a click of a finger, the Authors of Pain can turn things around. Their power game can just has the ability to just stop someone like that, especially a hurt DIY like the ones we have in the ring. Thrown into the turnbuckle now. And the Authors of Pain might be set up for victory here. There's no way. The last chapter. And the cover that follows on Ciampa. Gargano in to make the save. And Ciampa in here. Back up to his feet. Psycho Killer flips his way off there. Knee in the back of Akam. But belly to belly by Razor. He's on his own here and he's trying to fight, but this is where things get too much. This is where the Authors of Pain's aggression shines through. Akam now handing him off to Razor, who comes in with that back suplex. Johnny Gargano still down on the outside as well. Sacrificed himself to break up that pinfall. And Tommaso Ciampa now unloading away here. Trying to do everything to fight. Look at the strength of this man as he throws Razor into the turnbuckle. And speaking of turnbuckles, Razor just ended up in DIY's turnbuckle. Gargano's going to get back in this matchup now. Let's see what these two men have up their sleeves. Drop toe hold, double foot stomp. Knee in the face as well. Man, that is a thrill to see DIY in action. This is much more like the DIY that I anticipated heading into SummerSlam. They were caught out by everything and all. And Gargano was caught out by that lariat from Razor there. Thrown back into the Authors of Pain's corner. But he's able to counter his way out. He's able to fight his way out there. Gargano now. What can Johnny Wrestling do with his back up against the wall? Well, that's basically what Johnny Gargano spends most of his career in, all fairness. That is where he prides himself on being most of the time. Gargano out on the apron. Tope back in the ring now. And this is a message being sent to the British Empire. You can try and take us down, but you won't keep us down. DIY always find a way to fight back. Super kick, running knee combo, right in the back of Razor's head. Cover made. Akam goes down. There's the cover, and there's victory for DIY. How do you like that? British Empire, you tried to keep these guys down, and it weren't enough. You tried to pin them down. You tried to make sure that DIY weren't going to be back up on their feet in time for Anarchy Rules. Well, it's not even the end of the SummerSlam week, and they're back up on their feet. DIY are not only back up, they are back on track for those ECW tag team titles. Those titles that they crave back around their waist. This is where things get even more aggressive now between DIY and the British Empire, and I cannot wait for that tag team title matchup. If this is how personal is, I cannot wait for it next Sunday. It is going to be big, no doubt about it. We'll get into more of that next week on ECW when these two highly gifted teams continue on as they head into Anarchy Rules. Let's move on to our next contest, though. We are going to find out who will be facing Seth Rollins for the ECW Television Championship out of Sami Callihan, Buddy Murphy, and Drew McIntyre. So let's do this triple threat match then. Two matches that the British Empire certainly had their foot in will be made into three now. One of the men we just saw behind the DIY attack in action in this one. It's definitely not this one, though. That's Buddy Murphy, who prepares for this one here, who has a great opportunity heading his way. And, you know, I've talked about it before, about how I like giving out opportunities on ECW, and this is one of them. Buddy Murphy has a chance to go in the ring at Anarchy Rules against the greatest of all time and try and win the ECW Television Championship. I'm not trying to softball Seth Rollins with an easy matchup. I've checked Sami Callihan and Drew McIntyre in this matchup. Those are two completely different variables of one very dangerous athlete either way. Buddy Murphy's kind of the more all-rounded one, I guess you would say. You know, he's the Certainly the one more focused on his in-ring action. Certainly one more focused on letting the wrestling do the talking for him. And certainly not someone who's as focused on, say, a backstage attack as someone else might be. He's just focused on winning. He's just focused on having success here on ECW. And this could be his most successful part since his return to this universe about a few weeks or months ago now at this point. Nevertheless, here comes one of the opponents in this matchup. It is going to be Sami Callihan. It is going to be the man who, if Jay White wins later on tonight, are going to have a huge chance of the Switchblade of Anarchy lifting 2 singles titles by the end of the evening, which would be very interesting to say the least. We'll see if that'll be the case or not. Anyway, here comes the Callihan Death Machine towards the ring. Certainly when it comes to singles matches, you know, I don't mean to disrespect Sami Callihan, but Jay White has been the more talented of the two. Jay White has been the one picking up the more impressive victories. You look at his win over Kurt Angle, over Sami Zayn last week. And he's been doing them as well without Sami Callihan at ringside sometimes, like we saw last week with his victory over Zayn. However, Sami Callihan has his own business to attend to, and that is exactly what he is doing right now as he looks to become the #1 contender to the television championship. No doubt about it, the Battle Royal that is on later on this evening in the main event certainly had a part to play in why someone like Callihan and someone like Murphy have these opportunities. Sure, some other people were thrown to the were put by the wayside. I mean, you look at the likes of Kurt Angle, maybe even say Tyler Breeze, maybe someone else in the Wyatt family, Samoa Joe, people like that have been put to the wayside for newer opportunities to be granted to some athletes. And here is a guy who we just saw a moment ago, ready to try and become the #1 contender to a title, ready to have the one-on-one matchup with Seth Rollins that he never got to have a long time ago. He is, however, the ECW World Tag Team Champion, one half of it, Drew McIntyre, the powerhouse of the British Empire. And certainly a significant part of why Zack Sabre Jr. is no longer the Cruiserweight Champion. I'm not stirring the pot in the British Empire at all. I'm just saying that McIntyre attacked Ali backstage. Zack Sabre Jr. probably wanted it to happen in all fairness, but then decided to hold an open challenge. Out comes Hiromu Takahashi. There goes Zack Sabre Jr.'s Cruiserweight Championship. I'm not saying that McIntyre is the direct reason, but I'm certainly saying that he had an element to play in it all panning out the way that it did. However, there was still success on the evening for the British Empire. They took the tag team titles away from DIY. They didn't even celebrate the victory. They just started attacking DIY right after the bell had rung. And, you know, that left a sour taste in my mouth, I will be honest. I was not happy to see that transpire. But they just attacked them again, so, you know, it's pointless saying anything. They're just going to keep on doing the same things over and over again. Bell rings. And we're underway in this one. Buddy Murphy. This could be one of those weeks where he's over 205. Maybe he's put, you know, he's not been trying to cut weight. He's just let himself go over 205 so he can win a kind of matchup like this one. Sami Callihan, not really got a weight restriction like that to worry about. He just likes stomping people as he's doing right now to Buddy Murphy. And Drew McIntyre joined in on as well. McIntyre now overhead belly to belly suplex. This is a chance to send a message as well to the Switchblade of Anarchy. Another tag team in the division, of course. Irish whip off the ropes comes Sami Callihan. Collision between him and McIntyre, though. Spinning back fist is counted, and Callihan going for a ride there. McIntyre trying to take control in this one early. Hammerlock, back suplex there to Buddy Murphy. And Murphy going to make the most of the opportunity. Going to roll out of the ring here. Which in all fairness is a smart idea. McIntyre up on the second rope now, forcing Callihan to go back a little bit and then just, I don't know if there was a chop or forearm down on his head, but you're going to need more than that to keep Sami Callihan down. The Callihan Death Machine rolling on there. Murphy back in the ring, and what a big boot he just got clocked with. Stumbling to his feet on the outside, in the ring, pile driver from Sami Callihan, but Buddy Murphy right now sees an opportunity and he's going to try and make the most of it, having Callihan up on his shoulders, hanging him out to dry on the ropes there with that stun gun, and Callihan will retort to rolling out of the ring. Buddy Murphy and Drew McIntyre one-on-one now. Murphy with a counter, he's up on the top rope, great opportunity, lovely drop kick connected with as well. McIntyre not looking all that great against Murphy in this moment. What could we see from, that's what we'll see from Buddy Murphy. I was wondering what he would go for. He is certainly in the driver's seat there. Callihan has returned to the ring, great counter from Murphy, reverse DDT, and Callahan's back down. If I was either man, though, I would actually be focusing a little bit on Drew McIntyre. This is the tallest guy in the match, the heaviest guy in the match, the most brutal guy in the match in terms of just pure power. And that is exactly what happens when you keep your eye off him. What a counter, though, from Buddy Murphy. And oh boy, he's going over there. He's going over there. He is going to get a chair. No DQ, give him the chance, and he's going to work with it. Sami Callihan now taking a chair into the ring, and a chair to Drew McIntyre. No DQs in a multi-man match. Murphy, though, going to try and do his best to keep the chair away from Callihan. Callihan in with the counter. And Callihan going to give Murphy a pile driver, maybe a power bomb. Instead, he's going to get nothing. Murphy counters there, runs all right into that lariat. It's now McIntyre and Callihan, the referee, inadvertently taken down. There's press from McIntyre now. And now the brutal attack share of Drew McIntyre, just stomping and punching away there on Sami Callihan, and he's going to drop the boot down on his face to go with it as well. Picking Callihan back up now. The Callihan Death Machine, good English there from me. Murphy back in the ring, back seeing the chance in front of him. Getting counted again though and brought down. Sami Callihan having a steel chair back now. And he will let himself attack whoever he may please. And that is going to be a mixture of both men. McIntyre countering and then running right into the steel chair. McIntyre rolling out of the ring. Callihan drops the steel chair now. Had enough of it. Might have been looking for a big time maneuver. Murphy, fair play to him, able to counter. Callihan able to counter back. And an uppercut will bring him down there. Good back and forth counters from both men. Drew McIntyre, though, starting to get up to his feet on the outside. I think Sami Callihan is aware of that, and he has a welcoming gift for Drew McIntyre. Steel chair in the gut. Steel chair to Buddy Murphy as well, who's trying to crawl through the pain. But he's only going to get so far in all fairness. Back down he goes with a steel chair shot in the head. Same goes to McIntyre as well. He is brutal with that steel chair, but he's brutal when it comes to finishing matches as well. Callihan, cranial contusion to Drew McIntyre. Could it be Callihan going to Anarchy Rules to fight for the ECW Television Championship? He covers McIntyre. There's two. There's so nearly three. So very nearly three. And he rolls up here. He rolls up Murphy. Callihan rolls up Murphy and gets one to go with it. Sami Callihan rolls up Buddy Murphy and is the #1 contender to the ECW Television Championship. And it looks like there's relief on the face of Sami Callihan. The Death Machine came in for this one. He came in with a steel chair. He came in a swinging, and he comes out with a chance to dethrone the greatest of all time as the ECW Television Champion. 50% success so far for the Switchblade of Anarchy. And later on tonight, we'll see if Jay White can get a shot at the ECW Championship to go with it. That would be something else in its own right. What I will say, though, is that if Callihan had pinned McIntyre, we could have been looking at a different story in terms of coming out of Anarchy Rules. But he did roll up that man to win. So, you know, Pretty interesting triple threat match, I'll give it that. But Callihan was very reliant upon that steel chair. There is a strong chance that a steel chair won't be able to be used to his advantage on the night where he challenges for the TV title. Anyway, let's move on to our next contest. Coming up next, a horse matchup for you. Samoa Joe versus Rusev. Alright, this one is strap yourselves in. The ring better be strapped in as well. The ring better be ready because it is in for a lot of aggression coming its way, courtesy of what these men are going to do within it. First out comes the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. Man, we haven't seen in quite some time, I have to be fair, on ECW. He's kind of been pushed by the wayside. I hate to say it about a guy like Joe, but that is exactly what has happened to him with everything that has gone on. And oh good God, Rusev ain't gonna wait a moment to start this matchup from behind on Samoa Joe. Is this so wise from Rusev to attack a guy like Samoa Joe on the ramp because it hasn't paid out? Oh, it hasn't paid out the way he wants it to. Smack it down on the knees there. Lana watching closely as these two men go at one another on the entrance ramp here. This is how this matchup has started now, with these two men just going right for each other's throats. This is just going to be a big matchup, but instead it has fallen apart in that fashion. Samoa Joe thrown into the ring by Rusev. Rusev in the ring now, and the bell has rung. Rusev runs down the referee and Samoa Joe to go with it. Rusev coming out with a very aggressive start and now going right for the steel chair. Going right for the chair, which Joe slapped him in the face and the chair fell out of his hands. Samoa Joe starting to come out with the strike shear against Rusev, but Rusev able to counter him. What a hyper-aggressive start this has been for both sides. Irish whip from Samoa Joe now. Hasn't even had a chance to get his towel off yet. Rusev just been going right for him. Joe in with a counter there. Sweeps the leg away. And Rusev's not going to be too pleased about that. Neither is he going to be pleased about this. Chop right in the chest. And this matchup now can keep on driving on between these two. Rusev went for the chair earlier and it backfired on him, but a back suplex there and back down goes Samoa Joe. And Rusev's going for the turnbuckle pad. They're ripping it off. And Samoa Joe is not safe from it either. His back going into that turnbuckle pole. That is pure steel coming your way. And oh no, we're on the outside now. And Rusev in with the chair. Rusev in. He didn't want to fight Joe. He wanted to maim Samoa Joe. And that is exactly what he has done here. Whether this is a work of Lana or not, we don't know. What we do know is that Rusev has just used Samoa Joe to try and send a message. That ain't going to sit well with Samoa Joe. Well, what a chaotic night it's been here on ECW, as it always seems to be when we find ourselves approaching a pay-per-view. But we're not even a week removed from SummerSlam, and the chaos just keeps on coming. The action keeps on coming. The matches, they keep on coming as well. There'll be news to break about an awful lot that we've seen here tonight. Next week on ECW, I'll have that all sorted out for you. Don't you worry. We need to take care of business pretty damn quickly when it comes to trying to, just calm down what is going on around here heading into Anarchy Rules. It looks like it's going to be another big night. Of course it is. Seth Rollins is going to be in 2 matches. We already know he's taking on Sami Callihan later, as we saw earlier in the night, but we're about to find out who's going to be taken on in the main event for the ECW Championship. That is what proves the most important, in all fairness, for Seth Rollins, because if he wins at this event, if he wins at Anarchy Rules, there is nothing in the way of Seth Rollins breaking that record. And that record that I talk about is the record that he has been hunting for so long now. The longest reigning champion in the history of this universe. Currently held by Bobby Fish at 390 days. Seth Rollins is currently on day 367. 24 days away. Anarchy Rules is 9 days away. Rollins, should he win, which he undoubtedly will be after the day is done on day 374, leaving him 16 days away, 17 days away even, from making history. Just 2.5 weeks after that, Rollins will have done it. But he's got to get through Anarchy Rules to make that history. And you bet your bottom dollar every one of these 6 men in this matchup want to be the one to play spoiler. They want to be the one to stop Seth Rollins from making that day. They want to be the one to stop Rollins from being the man. I mean, let's be real. Kenny Omega's tried twice and failed. This guy has tried twice and failed. Who else in this match who has failed? Actually, I don't think anyone else in this matchup has failed. Naito hasn't had a title shot. Neville hasn't. Jay White most certainly hasn't. Zayn hasn't. And Aleister Black hasn't. Okay, so 5 fresh opportunities, and a guy who has failed twice. You really think I'm going to fear Kyle O'Reilly? You really think I'm going to be scared of O'Reilly getting the shot? Think of the other people who have failed. McIntyre, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles. We'll include Kenny and Kyle O'Reilly, Corbin, Bobby Roode. God, the list just goes on and on. Diamond Dallas Page, of course. The list just keeps on going when it comes to people who have failed against Seth Rollins some way more than once as well, which makes it even better. However, if this man were to get the championship opportunity, I certainly think it would be very, very interesting to see which way it would go. Out of everyone in this matchup, I believe Aleister Black is one of the strong favorites to win this Battle Royal. I mean, you think about it. Most people in this matchup have already had a big-time championship opportunity, bar Naito and Jay White. They've had Jay White simply because he hasn't been around long enough. Naito has had title opportunities, and of course he's held a championship. But Aleister Black possesses that natural hunger within him. Naito doesn't care. He's always tranquilo. Aleister Black wants to be a champion. He wants success. He wants those big matches for himself, for the Wyatt family, for Sister Abigail. Aleister Black wants all of that to go his way. And I think if Black was put in the ring with Seth Rollins, it would be that huge test that Rollins needs to prove that he deserves to make day 391, to crack the reign. Will he be able to do it, though, is another story. This Battle Royal is going to be very interesting. This Battle Royal has, 2 former world champions in it? It certainly, without a doubt, has a stacked amount of talent within it. I mean, all but one guy in this matchup has held a championship. Naito, as I talked about, the TV title. Kyle O'Reilly is a former tag team and WWE champion. Aleister Black is a 2-time television champion. This man right here is a former WWE champion. Sami Zayn looking for the huge chance here. The only former world champion there were 2 former world champions. And who else? Neville. Well, he's currently the ECW Tag Team Champion, so there's an awful lot of talent within this matchup. There's an awful lot of titles within this matchup as well between everyone. But the big question is, who will be the one to get the shot at the most important title on ECW against the most important wrestler of all time? Would it be Sami Zayn, who's been on a resurgence over these last few weeks? I mean, last week he had a bump in the road when he lost to Jay White, yes, but clearly it hasn't dented Zayn's confidence, and it hasn't dented where Sami Zayn finds himself, because he still finds himself with a chance to be ECW champion in just over a week from now. This is a very important matchup for a lot of guys, and for Sami Zayn, it'd be his first world title match in just over a year, I think. But here's a guy who's looking for his first singles title match in this universe as a whole. I brought up the success. I brought up former world champions. I said only one guy in this matchup hasn't won any gold in this universe. And there he is, the Switchblade, Jay White. White is the only one with nothing going for him in this universe. White is, yes, okay, he's only been here, 4 months. But Jay White has not captured a title yet. And judging by what we've seen on the Switchblade heading into SummerSlam, there is no doubt that he wants titles. And he wants the biggest title of them all. Imagine being 4 months into your career on ECW and capturing the ECW Championship from the longest reigning ECW champion of all time, the second longest reigning champion of all time, the current 2-time champion, on the same evening that your Switchblade of Anarchy friend could also win the ECW Television Championship. That would be the perfect night for the Switchblade, no doubt about it. But this man would also love to have that same glory go with him. Neville would love to be a 2-time champion in the same breath as well. And here he comes towards the ring. We saw him earlier on in the evening attacking DIY in the build-up to their tag team title matchup next week at Anarchy Rules. But Neville right now, much like Drew McIntyre was, is focused on trying to become the #1 contender. Where McIntyre failed, can Neville succeed is the question. And that is an answer that we will be awaiting to find out in just a few moments. The last man out in this matchup, the other 5 men standing around ringside, all looking at the King of the Cruiserweights and the leader of the British Empire making his way into the ring right now. Imagine there is some bad blood at ringside between some old foes. Aleister Black and Kyle O'Reilly standing out to me there. They certainly had bad blood in the past. But here we go with a 6-man battle royal. The main event is underway. Who will get the shot at Seth Rollins at Anarchy Rules? I talked about old rivalries. There's one right away in the turnbuckle between Naito and Aleister Black, the feud they had heading into WrestleMania, the mind games they were playing with one another over the ECW Television Championship, and they've immediately picked up where they left off. I would say the favorite in this one could very well be Aleister Black in terms of his determination. Aside from that, I'd probably go Naito. I'd say the wild card in this matchup would honestly be Jay White. Despite all of his victories that he's been sustaining over these last few weeks, which a lot of you have picked up on, I believe it would be a very big surprise if someone like Jay White were to win this one, but we'll see. Aleister Black did a good job of hanging on in there. And the attempted elimination of Naito. White now going to go right after Naito here and make the most of an opportunity. Imagine the scenes if the first man out in this match was one half of the ECW Tag Team Champions, because that could very well happen. Neville teetering, Naito teetering as well. We could go here at the hands of the Switchblade, but it ain't gonna happen. Naito getting back up to a vertical base and sending Jay White stumbling back a little bit there in the corner now. Neville and Sami Zayn. Not gonna get any success there is Zayn. Aleister Black lifting Jay White up now. Kyle O'Reilly looking to try and eliminate Tetsuya Naito here. What a step up in Zaguri there from Neville, that one was. DDT from Jay White. Dragon screw from Kyle O'Reilly. No elimination attempts in the 2 set in a little while. Neville trying to be sneaky and retorting to rolling underneath the bottom rope there to try and get himself away from some of the impact. Sami Zayn wants a piece of the Switchblade, and he'll get him with that Saito suplex. And the thing that I was just on about is exactly what Jay White will do. He'll go under the bottom rope now and try and take a breather in this one. Neville getting up to his feet, and he's going to go right for the Switchblade. Kyle O'Reilly and Aleister Black, who have bad blood with one another, continuing on where they left off. Naito up on that second rope. That's a treacherous place to be. And Jay White ran for him, but didn't go after him. Neville will go after Naito, though. It's almost like Naito was trying to say, just throw me over the top rope, but no one did. In the ring now, brainbuster by Neville there as the Switchblade and Aleister Black get into a fight with one another right now. When the first man in a battle royal usually goes out in this universe, everything starts to change and so many more start falling by the wayside, and it could be Jay White who falls by the wayside. He's hanging in there though. I was worrying for Jay White for a moment there. Nice use of the ropes there by Sami Zayn. Jay White doesn't seem to be able to catch a break in this one. He's in the middle of so much right now. 2 men are down. Naito and Zayn going at one another here. Drop kick from Naito. Zayn is out, and this is where chaos can begin now. Expect a few people to fall by the wayside in this one. Oh, here we go. This is not where Jay White wants to be, in the grasp of Kyle O'Reilly right now. Oh, but O'Reilly wants a piece of Neville. These two guys have bad blood as well in the past with one another. Aleister Black down on the mat, and that leaves Naito and O'Reilly to go at it here. Sami Zayn, the first one out in this matchup at the hands of Tetsuya Naito. El Ingobernable having his effect in this matchup. Aleister Black pacing himself around the ring right now. Saito suplex there from Neville. Switchblade is down. Rolls under the bottom rope to remain safe. Back suplex from Neville there as well. Aleister Black bouncing off the ropes. And Kyle O'Reilly's gone into the bottom rope as well. Oh, Aleister Black is teetering. Aleister Black teetering dangerously. And he's out of here now at the hands of Neville. Naito could have eliminated Jay White there, but didn't. And we find ourselves down to 4 now in this matchup. Naito with a big time drop kick there to Neville, who clutches on to that bottom rope and pulls himself underneath it. Naito now shoving Jay White in the corner. Forearm in the back. Jay White counters, flying forearm, and Naito goes down. And Naito rolling a very long way to safety. O'Reilly is teetering, and he's out of here as well. No third chance for O'Reilly to fail at the chance to be ECW champion. There are 3 remaining, and every one of these 3 men has an elimination in this matchup. Jay White, Neville, and Naito. What a hurricanrana there from Neville to Jay White. And he's going to go to the top rope. This is risky. Neville with an elbow drop on the back of Jay White. Neville pushing White into the turnbuckle there, clocking him in the face, kicking him in the ribs now, my apologies. Naito, big time. Drop kick there, and he's going after the Neville now with that tornado DDT, or tilt-a-wheel DDT rather. Could Neville be eliminated here at the hands of Naito? Hammerlock back suplex, got all of it, but that's not going to get Neville over the top rope, is it? Oh, but here we go. Naito wants to hit big, and hit big he shall on Neville. Destino! And that's surely it for Neville in this one. He just needs to throw him over the top rope at this point, and he's gone. And he'll be down to El Ingobernable. And the switchblade, the shots raining in. Neville couldn't hang on. And here we go. The final 2 in this one. Who will be going to Anarchy Rules? Naito versus Jay White. And Jay White just coming in now with the strikes to Naito. Forearms up against the ropes now. El Ingobernable in trouble. Jay White trying to get him out here. The switchblade trying to be the wild card. Trying to get that huge title opportunity against Seth Rollins. Naito is teetering. Can Naito hang in there? Yes, he can. Just about, in all fairness. Oh, but Jay White, Blade Runner! Jay White struck with Blade Runner. Look at that on the replay. He struck without a second thought. And Naito, fair play to him, is still trying to avoid going over that top rope. But it feels like Naito could be out here. That Blade Runner could have ended everything. And still Naito frustrating Jay White now. He will not go over that top rope no matter how much Jay White tries. Naito's teetering. Jay White made him torture. Jay White made him hang there. And Jay White eliminates him. There is your #1 contender to the ECW Championship at Anarchy Rules. Seth Rollins versus the Switchblade, Jay White. The wild card, the one with no titles under his belt, by the end of Anarchy Rules could be the most important champion in ECW. And White, whoa, what's White doing? Jay White is grabbing a microphone right now. This shouldn't be happening. We're late on Seth Rollins' celebration. Why is White getting a microphone? And there is the Switchblade, the new #1 contender with microphone in hand. And Jay White wants to play spoiler to everything here. White wants Seth Rollins out here. Screw the victory celebration. Why doesn't Rollins be a man and stare Jay White in the face? Oh, White, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Because you know he's going to show up. You know he is. He doesn't step down. He doesn't step down to a challenge on his own roster. Come on. You are messing with the greatest of all time. You're messing with the man who effectively runs this place. He holds 50% of the titles. The celebrations can wait, Seth Rollins. You have business to take care of. Someone's trying to cross themselves on your turf, and you better take care of it. Jay White in the ring, Rollins standing opposite him. And Rollins telling him exactly what I just said. Who does he think he is, trying to get in the way of Seth Rollins? This is his night, his moment, his time. He's the ECW champion for more than a year. And instead of celebrating, he's got to look this man in the face, the man who has done absolutely nothing to earn Seth Rollins' presence. What for? Because as Jay White simply sees, Rollins is looking at the next ECW champion standing right in front of him. Over a week from now, it will be Jay White who will ruin Seth Rollins' chance of making that record-breaking 391 days. It will be Jay White who will pluck that away from Seth Rollins, break his heart, and take pride in it. Seth Rollins doesn't see it as such. Rollins sees it as a guy who, just like Rollins once thought, is in way over his head, who thinks he's special when he's not. Jay White has done nothing of note other than look like a wannabe Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins will prove at Anarchy Rules there is one, and there only ever will be one, Seth Rollins. Jay White seems to have taken offense to that. He doesn't care what he looks like. He doesn't care what remarks Seth Rollins makes. Jay White cares for one thing: the ECW Championship. He cares for being the champion. He cares for the Switchblade of Anarchy as a whole, embarrassing Seth Rollins and taking away what he holds so close. Rollins retorts to Jay White, be careful what you wish for, because the opposite will happen. How many times have people said to Seth Rollins, you're going to lose, you're done for, you won't win? And yet Seth Rollins always comes out on top. Why? Because he's the greatest. And Rollins continuing on here by saying he saw SummerSlam, he saw what happened to Kenny Omega. Why doesn't Jay White just take a hike and understand that that will happen to you as well? Seth Rollins is unstoppable. Seth Rollins is unbeatable. Seth Rollins is undeniably the best. But Jay White, back at it once again, just says to Rollins, this means nothing. Kenny Omega isn't Jay White. Sami Callihan isn't Jay White. No one in this battle royal is Jay White. Jay White is himself, and the Switchblade will be pulling the trigger on a new ECW champion. So before Rollins leaves this arena, remember, the Switchblade is his opponent. He counts down the days, he looks at the calendar, and he sees Anarchy Rules awaiting him. He sees a Blade Runner on its way, and he sees him slicing down Seth Rollins' days as champion. And take a look at that. That is your main event of Anarchy Rules right there for the ECW Championship. The Switchblade Jay White, the greatest of all time Seth Rollins. It is on between these two men. Oh, that is going to be something else.